Relax, the keyboard is off, the press box is closed, and the mic is just getting warmed up as the Guardian of the Blue Paint turned writer is about to enlighten us. A show where the writer is fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. For this week's show, with new faces and new places, the Flyers end the Iron Man streak. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Inc. Join Lance and Steel as we bring you all the latest on the Flyers.
Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of the Hockey Writers Inc. As always, I'm your host, Lance Green.
And I'm your co-host, SteelFlyers. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 71. Oh, sorry, 72. Episode number 72. Holy smokes. With new faces and new places, the Flyers end the Iron Man streak. Episode number 72 of the Hockey Writers Inc. Lance, thank you so very much for being here, for being the main man, pots and pans. What a great week of awesome stuff we've seen so far. We got to watch a little bit of that NCAA Frozen 4 game there. And woo, doggies, we're going to talk about that a little bit too, ain't we?
I'm excited about that. That was an exciting game with another one to follow here.
Exactly, for sure. Plus, we're going to talk about a couple other things here, too. Obviously, the Iron Man streak ended for Keith Yandle and the Philadelphia Flyers. And there's been a plethora of college folks that have been signed to the team and have been assigned to the team that we want to get into a little bit here in this show. So, Lance, thanks, man. How you been? How you doing? How are things? What's going on, buddy?
Good, man. I am ready to go. It's exciting time right now. Plenty of youth popping up in the roster. College hockey's at its best right now.
It is.
It's exciting times right now. I mean, even if you're a Flyers fan. So.
I mean, okay. See, there you go. Even if you're a Flyers fan, I like that little caveat you threw in there. You know what I mean? So. One of the things that we wanted to talk about is a lot of the new faces that have come into the Flyers here as of late. Now that some of the other college teams, because we've been talking about the NCAA Frozen 4 and the finals started tonight, and there's one more game, and then we'll get to the national championship here next weekend, or what is it, Wednesday or Thursday of next week or whatever. So, but we're talking about a lot of the kids that have come in that the Flyers have drafted. And one, Ronnie Attard, is one player that we would very much like to talk about. And I know you have a lot of great information about what's going on with him.
Right.
And we also want to talk about Noah Cates, too, a little bit. He was brought in as well, too. I'm not sure, but I don't think Hodgson's is a college signee.
No, he was with the Phantoms. He was signed this year with the Phantoms and leading goal scorer down there, and got his chance once numerous other people left out in the Claude Giroux departure. So they brought him up as a stopgap, I guess, until all these college guys get signed and are able to fill in some of the empty roster spots. So
all right, I wasn't really sure what the deal was for him per se, but I knew you'd have the inside line on that, man, because you're all that and informed. So all right, so now we've seen, let's start with Noah Cates, right? Sure. Let's start with him, right? So we've seen a small body of work from him now so far since he's been brought into the team. And give me your assessment about Mr. Cates.
Well, pretty good, because as we just are speaking about him, he just scored.
Oh, well, hey! All right,
so,
there you got to check one box for Mr. Cates.
An unassisted goal right now just popped up as we speak. So, actually, they just filled it in, Provorov and Hayes. Okay. So that's his second goal this season with the Flyers already. I was never really a huge fan of him. I like what he did in college for Minnesota Duluth, but I didn't know how well it would transition to the pros. Was he going to be better than his brother? I expected it, but he seems to be winning some board battles, winning some, down low battles behind the net, getting in the right spots, playing a little dirty like that college game, and doing the right things. And it seems to be paying off early for him. He's hungry, and I can appreciate that. He wants to come in, and he knows that come next season, his spot might not be so guaranteed. So he's playing for his future here, and he's doing the right things right now.
Everybody's playing for their future here for real. I mean, to be honest with you, they should be. If not, they should be. You know what I mean? Because quite honestly, I mean, I wouldn't even say that even like guys like Ellis or even Provorov are solidified, or even, I mean, you could probably say Couturier would be solidified, but and maybe Carter Hart would be, but there's a very few list of guys that are solidified on this team. I think everybody else is playing for a job or playing for tape for somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, very, very, very much so. And I think it's wide open at this point with the Flyers having a second season of just disaster. Yes, there was a lot of injuries this year, but every team deals with injuries, and you need to be able to persevere, and the Flyers just haven't been able to do that. So here we are looking at a lottery pick.
I mean, all you have to do is look at Vegas, and they have lost the most man games this year because of injury.
Right.
Okay. And they are fighting for a spot in the playoffs. Okay. They do not have the best depth in the NHL at all by any stretch of the word.
They've only been a team for so long. I mean, they don't have the years of draft picks. Yeah.
So they have found a way to be relevant, even though they've missed however many hundreds of hours of man games lost due to injury this year. Right. I mean, it's comparable to the Flyers, because the Flyers at one point had 11 players on the list.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they were all sitting up there with me.
Okay, right. Okay, when there's more guys sitting up in the press box than there is down there on the ice, that's a problem. That usually doesn't equate to a really good record, right? And especially with the guys that the Flyers have had out this year. Couturier, Ellis, the list goes on.
The list goes on, yes.
Right. Ad nauseum, we've talked about it. So I, too, was in that same kind of boat with Cates. All right. He's showing me a little something now. He has been in the last couple of games where I agree. He has his head down. He's getting into the dirty areas. He's being that grinder. I think that's more his game than the the finesse score or whatever, that kind of thing. I think he's more of that type of a player.
I think it's yet to be determined. I think it's going to be a little bit different from where he was in, obviously he's going to be somewhat similar to the player he was in college. Yeah. But I think he doesn't have to be relied on as much to be the guy, and that maybe take a little pressure off of him, even though he's now playing in the NHL.
Always helps.
He's able to go on a line like he was tonight when he just scored this goal, and he was out there with Kevin Hayes, who I think has stepped up tremendously since Giroux's been out, and now he's finally Hayes finally getting at least closer to 100%, if he isn't already. So I think he's really been taking this in and showing us, that he is a leader on this team, like he's getting paid to be.
All right, so let's rabbit hole quick, right? Because you touched on something here that I really feel is going to be a major turning point for this team this off season. Okay, and I think some of those major turning points this coming off season are going to revolve around a select few players on this team. One of them being Kevin Hayes, I believe, and the other one being JVR. Both of whom are making over $7 million a year. Both of whom could be trade bait to get draft picks, to get younger, cheaper, faster, less medical more points, more production, whatever you want to call it. So what do you think about that? I mean, do you think that, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean,
I think it's a very, very realistic. We've talked about for some time, and I wrote articles on it before. How I think the Flyers should trade JVR. He's just too streaky of a guy. When he's on, but then he's off for a month, and he's just out there. And personally, a little fact here: he's tied for third worst in the league in plus minus. He's a minus 32 in the entire league. He's the third worst player defensively in the NHL right now. That's because he skates like he has cement blocks on his feet, guys. And he's never been a swift skater, but he's been able to hang around the net and score some power play goals to get people to overlook that. But this season, while he's still got some sneaky numbers up there, I just think that for what they pay him, he needs to be either doing a heck of a lot more. And I don't care if the guy scored 30 goals, he's still a minus 32, so he's not doing the team any favors when he's out on the ice. In my mind, so a lot of people downplay that stat, but the proof's in the pudding right now, and that's part of the reason why the Flyers are so bad signing these type players. Now Kevin Hayes, on the other hand, like I said, I think he gives it his all every single night. I do really like his game. He's one of the few players on the team with size and strength. He is going to be very outspoken, as he was with Keith Yandle's benching. He's going to tell you what he feels, and that's a true captain in my mind. He's sticking up for his teammates. Will he get the C? I don't think so. I think that's going to probably go to Couturier in my mind, but it's going to be up for debate for sure. Yeah. And I'd rather, out of the two of them, I'd rather definitely keep the often injured Kevin Hayes, but I just see a lot more from him when he's out there. So.
Okay. Real quick assessment from the Steel. I thought that Kevin Hayes was brought in to be an AV guy.
Sure.
And to help bring in the AV system. AV is not here no more.
Right.
And although I believe that Kevin Hayes has been playing so much better, and we're actually seeing the Kevin Hayes that we saw back when he was like right before he was in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
When he was playing, when the Flyers were really playing well there, and they were one of the best teams in the league, and he was playing very, very well.
He's got 2 assists tonight.
Okay, so like I said, I just don't see him as a top guy, though. Is he captain material? Sure. Is he saying all the right things? Sure.
So is Keith Primo. So is
all right.
So it's
okay.
not. It doesn't have to be a first line player.
I'm with you on that. But for the kind of money that he's making, he should be doing, I believe, more.
80 points a season.
Oh, just maybe.
Yeah.
Go figure.
But with that, I think out of the two's contract, JVR's got one more year left. And a team like Arizona or somebody like that who's going to be playing in a college stadium that only holds 5,000 people, it's going to be a tough sell to get free agents in there to replace Kessel and all this, who is a free agent as well. So I think it's much easier to sell to get rid of JVR this season than it would be, Kevin Hayes, who's been often injured and who has numerous years still left on his contract.
4 years, 5 years, something like that.
I think we're kind of stuck with Kevin Hayes. Yeah. And right now, if he keeps playing and stays the least bit healthy, the way he's playing, I'm much,
I'll take that. Yeah.
I'll take it because we're going to need some kind of offense here. So.
I mean, we'll take any little bit of offense that we can get. You know what I mean? Okay. So, all right. Well, I just wanted to kind of go down that rabbit hole and see where we stood on that. I mean, I always thought that we would try to get rid of JVR or some kind of something, and I kind of felt the same kind of thing about Kevin Hayes, because I think he's just overpaid for the amount of player that he is.
For sure.
Oh, okay. The intangibles, yeah, could he be captain? Cool. I mean, but I don't have to pay my captain $8, $9, $10 million a year, do I? No. Right? Or 7. Right? I could pay my captain 4, 5, 6. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? So
sure.
That's kind of where I think Kevin Hayes belongs with his production.
I think so, and I've wrote articles on that in the past where we looked at point production compared to paychecks, and where some of the players that are on different teams that are getting paid the same amount as JVR and Kevin Hayes.
We've done those comparisons.
we've done those already, so we won't rehash that. But let's get back to these kids.
Yeah, I want to talk about the next one, which is Ronnie Attard.
Sure, and I think he's got a bad rap right now. The kid is a -6 heading into this game. In 3 games played, he had kind of a rough outing in one of them, for sure. He has 1 assist for 1 point, but I really like what I see from him. He's a big body. He's a puck-moving defenseman, and it's not all his fault. All these minuses are not his fault. When he's stepping up and he's cycling the puck and he's going down low to create a scoring chance,
no support.
Somebody has to get back. That is what you learn in Pee Wee hockey. So where is his help is what I'm saying. He is already tenfold better than I'll say it, anybody on the defense as far as moving the puck on that blue line, and he is the only defender on the team right now who will stand somebody up at the blue line instead of retreating. He will put them on their backs, and that's what I like about this kid. He is not afraid to play the body.
I wish we'd seen more of that from Ristolainen.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. I mean, he gets his checks for sure, but he's going to he doesn't have that skating. He doesn't have that same skating ability as Ronnie does. So he's going to retreat a little bit and then, railroad somebody in the boards later on. Or try to redirect you, whereas Ronnie's going to stand you up, and then you have to go around him. Where Ristolainen's going to ride you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. Or try to redirect you to a different way outside of the net to keep you on the outside of the perimeter. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's kind of where Ristolainen's game is. And then when once
he gets you to the boards
and stuff, then he's going to ride you off the puck. So
exactly. It's a little bit different where Ronnie's game is more stand you up at the blue line to get you off the puck. And then once you're discombobulated, he's looking down and looking to skate ahead.
Yeah, I think it's just a different playing style, like you said. I think that Attard needs to get in there and play some more games with this team so they get to know him. Yeah. And, I think it'll be all great because I like everything, what I see from this kid. It's not like he's getting beat. Puck battles wise, he's trying to create offense, something that this team doesn't have. And he's doing it. He's doing it right when he's cycling the puck and he's getting in there. But somebody just needs to play defense and step back. A winger needs to step back, and when he's doing that, in the zone a little bit farther, and they'll be okay.
I want to see him go up against guys like, Draisaitl, McDavid. I want to see him going up against guys like, when they played against Toronto, right? You didn't hear anything out of Matthews. That was Attard's second game. Yeah. Right?
I like him. I really like him, guys.
You didn't hear anything from Matthews in that game. Okay? Now, see, that's what I want to see. I want to see him going up against guys like that. Because in that way, I can assess him individually. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? When he goes up against a player like that, I can assess him individually. When you see the guys moving up the ice, that's how you see how he's going to play with the team.
Yeah, I think they're breaking him in slow.
Yeah.
They're trying to get him in there, but they're also not trying to like hang him out to dry his first week in the NHL.
Well,
You know, you gotta. It's a thin line there.
I agree. Thin line. Yep.
You gotta be able to break him in a little bit so he gets somewhat comfortable, and at the same time not hang him out to dry. So I can see it. He's playing a little bit on the power play and different stuff. So I like it.
I do too.
So
I'm for it. I'm all for it, and I liked his game in college.
I do too.
Okay, right. And so we both got to eyeball him in college and see his college game. So the fact that he's getting an opportunity right now with the big club instead of going to the Phantoms. Okay, so that's kind of what I want to try to get into now as well too, because this is going to lead us right into what happened with Keith Yandle. Okay. And I know that you have a lot of opinions about what's going on here with all this. And listen, Lance and I, are player-centric. We are all about making sure that the player succeeds. We want to see the player succeed. We root for the player to succeed. Okay, we're more player-sided than team-sided. You know what I mean? So I just want to make that little part clear here, because we're not saying things against somebody personally. This has nothing to do with personally. This is just about the straight facts here, folks. Okay? And the fact is,
it's a business, yeah.
It's a business, right? And however ugly it was, because let's face it.
We'll get to it, yes. Believe me, we're going to get to it.
Well, yeah. All right, let's face it. It was ugly, okay? But he didn't exactly help his own cause.
He did not.
So, Lance, expound on this for me, would you please, brother? Because I could just see you chomping at the bit at this one.
So this was a big issue. Like I said before, Kevin Hayes spoke on it. He did not feel that it was right for the Flyers to take and break Keith Yandle's streak, the Iron Man streak, of course, that now probably will be surpassed fairly quickly by Phil Kessel, who's right on his heels. And maybe by the end of the season, maybe next season, but we'll see with that. But was it a right decision? Now, from a team standpoint, I believe so, yes. They need to get their youth in, and they've done that with Ronnie getting in there and all that on the back end. That was needed, yes.
Much.
Okay, but they also got to think about, a lot of people were saying, free agent-wise, why would anybody, veteran player coming into this team next season, want to sign with the Flyers if they're going to do this type stuff? And, listen, in my mind, I don't think anybody's going to blame the Flyers, and here's why, guys. Keith Yandle is the league's worst defensive player in the NHL this season. He's a league-leading minus 41 on the season, the worst plus-minus in the entire league, okay?
Wait, hold on. Let me put that into context for you here, folks. Do you know
32 teams, how many players are on each team?
Right. Of that, to have somebody that is that negative, all right.
He was brought in to be some power play specialist this year. He has 1 power play goal on the season.
How many power play assists?
Power play points total would be 10, so that's 9 assists.
Whoa.
Okay, that's your specialist, and he's scored a ton of power play points in his time, but his time has surpassed. It's behind him. His best years are behind him, and the Flyers took a chance on him. They got a good deal on him for what it was at the time to bring in a proven veteran, but there's a reason why he was bought out. And this is and now the Flyers are seeing that. So I really can't say that any free agent or anybody can really blame the Flyers coming from the outside looking in on why they sat Yandle. Now, do I think they probably should have? Yeah, let's go. Let's lose all the games because I want a top 3 pick. But you have to show your youth here. You have to get them some experience, and that's what the Flyers are trying to do here. They're sitting some players and allowing this youth to come in to be able to see what they got, because they have to see what they got, because they have a lot of restricted free agents next season that they're going to need to either pass on or re-sign, and see if these guys are going to be able to fill their shoes if they let them go.
Yeah.
So, that's where we're at, guys. And that's why, Keith Yandle, in my mind, deserved to be sit, and the team allowed him to break that record, and, kudos to them for allowing that. But, to allow that to go to the rest of the season and not give Ronnie a shot at the NHL for the last couple games, being that you're out of the playoffs already, it would have been more harm than good in my mind for that young player. Like you said, to really go back to the Phantoms and start there. And we all know how the team can't develop talent once they're there. So that's a recipe for disaster in my mind, because they're one of the league's worst teams, and they're trying to make a playoff push late, but they were last in their division only a week or so ago. So, in my mind, they made the right move, guys. And on any token, Yandle can be pissed off or whatever, but he really needs to know where he is, and that it may be time to move on, or hang him up.
Okay, so I'm gonna come at it from a bit of a different angle here, okay? Because I think that Keith Yandle should have never been brought into the team to begin with. Okay, and that contract should have never been signed, and that issue should have never been brought to the Flyers. Well, he was not any level of help that the Flyers could have used. I mean, I don't even know why Fletcher brought him. I don't get it.
I do.
Well, wait. Let me rephrase that. I do. I get it. I know why. Because he's a Kevin Hayes buddy. Because he's an AV guy, right? So
the power play was absolutely horrible. So you tried to bring in a power play specialist, and that didn't work.
How many times have the Flyers tried to bring in a power play specialist? And every single time, has it not been a complete and utter disaster? Who? Name me. Hey, look, in the comment section, you all tell me, listen, guys, be the crack research staff and find out who has done better. Seriously, because I'm waiting for it. There's not many out there. There's really not. And Keith Yandle should have never been brought into the team, and we would never be having this conversation. Now, the fact that he was brought into the team, that was mistake number one. Mistake number two was whatever gentleman's agreement or whatever no trade clause that they did with him, or whatever the deal they signed with him, was mistake number two. Mistake number three was playing him until he got to the streak. Look, like I said, we are player-centric. I'm all for guys succeeding, but this guy has been a liability to this team almost since the drop of the puck from day one.
Yeah. Lots of turnovers, lots of misplays. It was a rough season for Keith.
Now,
as good a team guy as he is.
That's what I mean. Like I said, he's a great team guy. He's great in the locker room. He's great for the organization. He's a good face for the franchise. He's a great team player. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy in life. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So this is nothing personal. It's just the straight facts, man. When you're minus 43, there are whole teams in the NHL that are that, and guess where they are? At the bottom of the league. Okay, when their goal differentials are negative 43, guess where you are? On the outside looking in.
not going to the big dance, not getting a chance to hoist the chalice, right? So, I have a hard time with this was when you make those first two mistakes, and then all you did was perpetuate it throughout the whole rest of the year. So you allowed this guy to get this streak. All right, cool, he's got the streak. But then why didn't you sit him that first game afterwards? Or why didn't you bring, you know what I mean? It's like I have a hard time with the fact that he was brought in. Now, was it bad that the way the Flyers handled it? Is it going to go down as bad that the Flyers handled it bad? I don't think so. I agree with you, Lance, because Keith Yandle had an opportunity to make it hard for them to make these decisions, and he has clearly not. He doesn't have the tools anymore. He doesn't have the game anymore. He doesn't have the stats anymore. He doesn't have the capabilities anymore. When you're that much of a hindrance to the team, you shouldn't be on the team. You shouldn't be playing. You should be scratched. You should be going down to the Phantoms or traded or waived even. Seriously, you should have been waived. Okay? But whatever deal they made with him, you know what I mean? He's here till at least the end of the season. Okay? So is it a shame that he's not going to have a record that's going to stand for a long period of time? No. Did he break the record? Yeah. Is he going to have that little personal pride for himself? Yeah. Is somebody else going to break that record? Probably. You know what? Records are made to be broken, right? The fact that you get to be mentioned in that group of people. Hey, Iron Man streaks. Hey, you know, Phil Kessel got to 1,006.
Right.
Right, whatever. And the next guy down is Keith Yandle, 900 and whatever.
Right.
Nothing wrong with being second.
I mean, yeah, and especially, you know, kudos goes to him because, you know, to do it as a defenseman, blocking shots and everything like that, especially, you know, I'm sure he pushed through a heck of a lot of games in his time to keep that streak going.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, dude, that is, I mean, 989 games. I mean, there's only 82 games in the season, man. That's like straight just 10 years.
It's a lot of seasons
of not missing a single game and then some. You know, that's like 11 or 12 seasons of not missing a game. I don't know about y'all, but man, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Works for me. So, all in all, you think that the Flyers did right by sitting him and bringing up the youngster?
I mean, could they have sat Nick Seeler or somebody like that?
Yep.
Probably. They probably could have done that and allowed. But at the same token, they've sat their worst defenseman. And how can you blame them for that? They sat their worst defenseman. And granted, it was a guy with a streak going, but they sat their worst defenseman. They're trying to make a positive note out of this season so they have something to build upon going into next season. You know, and it's exciting right now. You know, right now they got Hayes out there with Tippett and Cates, and you know, trying to bring the young guys around. And you got York out there out with Provorov getting a chance to play. You know, and
really
and
been
Ronnie,
impressed with York. I mean, we knew that York was going to be good.
Listen, here's my dilemma too with this. Cam York's a left-hand shot defenseman. Yeah. He's playing the right side with Provorov. He's mentioned in post-game press conferences that he's trying to get comfortable playing the right side. So you have an elite defenseman in my mind, in your ranks coming up, and you're taking the old Flyers attitude of playing them out of position. You know, should you move? The question is going to be coming this offseason. Should you move Provorov? Should you move, you know, Travis Sanheim? You know, and give him his spot on the left side.
Move Sanheim. Maybe move Provorov. Get a coach in there that knows how to frickin' coach the team to put these guys in the right spot. get a development system in there that knows how to develop these guys and put these guys in the right spot. It's not just about, look, you could keep every single player on this team right now, hands down, and bring in a coach and a system that puts guys in the right place, that plays guys to their strengths. That if you look at a guy and go, hey, man, he's a good finesse player, he should play here. Or he's this kind of player, he should play there. You should put these guys with these guys and then keep them same guys every single night.
Hey, well, just like that, too. I mean, out of all the players that you could pick, when obviously there's a lot of centers out right now, and they had, Farabee step in at center. Why would you pick one of your top scoring offensemen and make him play an off position? Why wouldn't you pick a more seasoned guy than a guy that's got 2 or 3 seasons in the league to step in and play center?
Why are we sitting on this end of the mic?
I don't get it.
Why are we sitting in on this end of the mic?
Why would you not pick Provorov and tell him, hey, until we get somebody healthy, I need you to play on the right side. You're the veteran. Allow York to play the left side and ease his way in instead of making a kid that's still green in the gills play an off position on the first defensive pairing against the best the East has to offer.
Yeah.
Why are you going to set
no pressure?
Why are you going to set this kid up to fail? I don't think he's failing. He's doing rather well, but still, why does this make sense to anybody else? Why would you not say, Provorov, you're supposedly one of the best defensemen in the league. You play 25 minutes a night. We're going to need you to slide over for a couple of games and play the right side here. And teach, and allow this kid to come along on his natural position and help him along.
That would involve a coach who knows what they're talking about or doing. That would involve an organization that knows how to develop players to put them in the right place at the right time. Maybe it's just me, man. I don't know.
I guess it's just us, because that makes absolutely no sense to me. That makes absolutely no sense to me.
See,
yes, he needs to be playing on the top there because he is top
that
2
good. I agree.
He is that good.
I agree.
To put him on the wrong side when you have a guy who's been in the league, 7 years? I don't even know how long Provorov's been in. 6, 7 years? Yeah. And been in there. Why can't he play the offside? Yeah, he's obviously not been doing great on the left side this year. Let's be honest.
Okay, so this is why we have this show. This is why we talk about this kind of stuff, man, because we can't be the only ones that see this. We can't be the only ones that understand all you have to do is look at the logics. All you have to do is look at other teams and see what other teams are doing successfully. And then you look back and when you do that, like you look at, say, like we looked at LA and Anaheims and Colorados and and Tampa Bays, and we've looked at some of those teams and how they do their development, how they bring their young players in, how they keep guys all on their AHL team or keep guys all in-house instead of having guys scattered all over the planet. You know what I mean? For your development. Now you're relying on all these guys all over the world to be your development. Why not bring them in-house? You can develop it yourself. Oh, because you lack the coaching staff or the development staff to do that. Mm-hmm. The fact that Danny Briere comes in and has the scouting department at the freaking Phantoms games now. Well, where have they been all year? I don't know. Not at the games.
Right.
What do you mean?
And as soon as he got in there, he had the player development coaches sitting up with the injured players that are young and sitting there at the Flyers games when the kids attend them. And they're going over the games. He's already doing stuff that makes sense.
Okay.
So
Look,
why
we
not
already
just
know
give him
what's
the
gonna
job
happen.
now?
Yeah, okay, look, we already know what's going to happen. Chuck Fletcher's going to be promoted to president, and Danny Briere's more than likely going to get the GM job. That's at least my prediction. That's my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen because, quite frankly, I think if Chuck Fletcher is still the general manager come this offseason, we might be looking for a new team. Because if he – look, I was never a fan of Chuck Fletcher to begin with. I was never on board with him coming to this team. I read the writing on the wall from everybody that where he came from Minnesota, and look at how hard it's been for Minnesota to climb out of that hole. And all he's done is put Philadelphia into a deeper hole. Okay, since he's been here, and this team has not gotten better since he's been here. It's gotten worse. We've lost better players since he's gotten here, and he hasn't brought anything in to replace any of those players.
No,
Maybe it's just me, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, and I apologize, right?
No, I think they're slowly. You're right. Minnesota was broken down, but I think Billy Guerin is doing a phenomenal job taking that team and turning them around now up there in Minnesota. And I see small changes of players coming in now. From the error that is
Fletcher
current,
era,
Fletcher error and everything. And we'll see. We'll see. It's still a year or so away from really next season. You're seeing York come in now. You're seeing some of his picks come in. So we'll see where we're at. I really am interested to see Connor McLennan. I'm really interested to see Dejournay come in. And,
and
both of those, Brink's coming in, at the end of this week, hopefully after this, he's got to play one more game now. He could have been on a plane to Philly right now if Michigan won, but they didn't. So they got one more game in his college career.
Brink
hopefully.
with the primary assist on that game-winning overtime goal, by the way.
Yeah, so exciting stuff. It's exciting stuff. To a player in Savoy, Carter Savoy, whose brother we may be drafting in the top 5.
Hey, how you doing?
And he's pretty good too, Matthew Savoy. So we'll be getting a good look at him coming up. He's only got 84 points on the season this year in 61 games. So
only 84 points.
And he's a plus 47. So
no.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see him in a bit. But what do you think about this Tippett guy?
All right. So there was never going to be a guy that was going to come in that was going to be the equivalent of Giroux. I was never expecting that at all. But I will say this.
In a return, you mean, yeah?
Yeah, in a return. I was very disappointed in the return that the Flyers got, which is another example of I believe, the incompetence of the management of the Flyers. The fact that they had to give up more than what they got back. Anyway, that's for another show. Owen Tippett.
He's got a goal tonight.
I've liked his game. He was one of those players that, unfortunately, and we've talked about this on some shows way back, where Florida has this plethora of talent and skill players, Owen Tippett being one of them, where they were not able to get them time on the ice due to the nature of the team that's in Florida right now. And let's face it, they are the number one offense out there. And to be honest with you, he would only be getting, fourth line minutes, right? And that's not going to be his game. Right. He needs to play more than fourth line minutes in order for him to be a bit more successful. Well, you know what I mean?
I think you saw that when he first came here. He was playing second line minutes, but it was with Morgan Frost.
Yeah.
Who's been,
well,
we all know how I feel.
We ain't
about
talking
Morgan
about
Frost. That one. So But now that you see him playing with Hayes and he has somebody that can get him the puck, he's getting more and more scoring chances.
Because he's a shooter first.
He's a shoot first player, and he's capitalizing on those plays now because he's getting the puck, and he's not a great player on the puck. I don't like him handling the puck. He's to get to some point on the ice that he can rip a shot from and somebody get him the puck. And that's essentially what the Flyers needed. They have so many guys that can dish the puck, but they can't finish. And he's a finisher. Yeah. And now he's got a couple of goals since being with the Flyers, and he's really been exciting to watch. Even if he wasn't scoring goals yet,
breakaways he's had so far.
Yeah, he's getting breakaways after breakaways and scoring chances, and it's really exciting to watch. He's got some speed. He's a ginger. He's a ginger, so he fits that.
He fits right in.
That's why we talked to our buddy last show, and allowed him to, realize that we had plenty of gingers here to, come join us if he
keep him company. By all means.
Right. So, but let's face it, man. I like Tippett's game, and I wrote those articles in the past that you were referring to on him. Specifically, and I pointed him out years ago that he is an undeveloped talent. This season, he had a bunch, 12 games. He had 6 goals, 12 assists, and 18 points for the Charlotte Checkers this season when they sent him down in Florida. Like you said, he just was buried on a depth chart there. And was never really given this kind of playing time, and consistently.
He wasn't gonna get it either.
And I mean, a couple of minutes a night isn't going to develop somebody. And now you're seeing him getting chances and capitalizing on those chances, where he's getting to play with Hayes and others, better players, and he's capitalizing on those chances now. Unlike other prospects that we've had in our own system that failed to do so when given the chance to play with Giroux and others and Voracek and everybody else.
Multiple times.
So,
we should probably do a show of a list of guys that we think should just go. I think we could fill a show with that.
I'm trying to work on that now on who should stay and who should go. So
I think we should do that for the next one. There you go, folks. We're gonna do who should stay and who should go.
I'm trying to write that article. I got all my handy dandy notes.
See,
like that I carry around with me everywhere. Yeah, I carry around with me everywhere. This is what
happens when you do 72 shows with somebody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, okay, look, I'm just going to tell you right now, okay? I'm a very lucky guy, man. I'm very blessed and very lucky that I get to have a partner like Batman that I get to work with here. Because he's Batman. Anyway. But I'm just very grateful to all the hard work you do, Lance. Man, I'll tell you what, this has been a very, very, very sweet ride, bro. And man, I can't wait to do 72 more. Like, we're just getting warmed up, buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If we had more time in the week, that we would be pumping them out. But
I think we would be too.
Yeah, but always enjoy. Right back at you, sir. I always enjoy jumping on with you. So it's been fun. But what do you think we talk about this shootout or lack thereof that the Flyers have?
Do we have to?
I think we should, just to bring light to it.
We should. Okay. So Lance wrote an article here a couple days ago. Sorry, a couple weeks. Yeah, all right. A couple days ago about the shootout win that the Flyers were able to do, and it was the first
against the Rangers,
one of the season.
First shootout win of the season. Only took them 69 games into the season to do so.
Well, I mean, hey, it took us 82 days into the 2022 season to get our first win. So, all right.
Yeah, it's a road win. Yeah. So first out of 5 chances this season that they capitalized on in a shootout. And, that's what, 20% win percentage this season? All right. So
1 out of 5?
One out of
for
5.
five?
Yeah,
That's 20%.
Well, that's 20%. Yeah, I can math once in a while.
Yeah.
So
all right.
So this really caused me to dig deeper into this, and deeper I went for sure. So since they implemented the shootout back in the 2005-2006 season.
I didn't want to do this because this is
all right.
Gonna just get ugly.
Yes. We all know that the season is ugly already, but this has been an ugly part of the Flyers for a long time. Mm-hmm. And everybody kind of overlooks it and just chalks it up to, we should just get away with the shootout and all that stuff. But hey, it's present and it looks like it's staying pat. So maybe you need to address it. So
or practice it or something.
Right. Or sign some players for it. But let's go over.
Hey, what do you know?
This is going to be painful, but let's go over this. Since 2005-2006 season, if the Flyers have been unable to win and left in a tie, 60 minutes, plus, when they had to go to a shootout over this 17 years now of its existence, they've had over 150 contests that resulted in a shootout. Of that 150 times, they've won 54 of those contests. That means that they lost 96. All right. And if I get on my math cap again, that's 36% win percentage. You know where that ranks them, Steel, all time in the shootout realm of teams, win percentage wise?
40th.
Yes, dead last in the league. All right, since its induction, they are the worst shootout team in the league. All right, even the Seattle Kraken, they've had a better one, and their draft was absolutely horrible. Yeah, and their draft was absolutely horrible. So many times that the fans and everybody sleeps on this, but on average, the Flyers have played since its induction 9 games a season, which have had to go to a shootout.
Yeah,
that's roughly 10% of their games, guys.
Yep.
And 10% of your games, if you're losing at that rate, it's the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs in the Metro Division. I mean, the Metro Division is a tough division. And if you're losing, the vast majority of these shootout games, you're not making the playoffs. And that's part of the reason why the Flyers haven't made it, the past couple seasons to the playoffs. Yes, they've had other problems, but this is one of them. This is 10% of the games here. And the Flyers simply don't have or haven't ever put emphasis on this. In fact, their best shootout player since this induction, of course, was Claude Giroux. And Claude Giroux, he had 30 goals since this started, but he's gone and made attempts 103 times during this, span of 17 years or whatever like that. 15 that he's been in his career, but that's only an effective rate of 29.1%. That was your best guy that is at the shootout realm, and he was only 29% effective in scoring goals. All right, let's look at some other guys. Okay, other teams notice this is a thing, and this is something that they have to sign or acquire guys in order to do so and be effective and win these games. Now, who's the guy?
Wait a minute, before you give me the top team, who's the next team above Philadelphia? Like, if Philadelphia is the worst, right?
Who's the second worst?
Yeah, they've only won 31% of their games since its inception.
Yeah, 30 went 36, I think, something like that.
Whatever.
Yeah. I didn't even bother to look. It was pretty gruesome. A lot of people were at least 40%
Oh man.
You know,
All
and
right.
and that was at least closer to half the games.
At least.
But right. So when looking at this, you got specialists, okay? Like we were saying with a power play specialist earlier, they have shootout specialists. They have, drafted kids like Anaheim drafted Trevor Zegras. He's ungodly stick handles and dangles and everything else. He's amazing to watch, and he's so
Mr.
young.
Lacrosse, man.
He's scoring at a rate of 58.3% when he's been in this, when he's called to center ice, to take a shootout. And, Panarin's pretty good at 59%.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys out there that are in the 50%,
really
like over half the time when they go out there, they're going to score goals. And, the same thing on the other side of the thing. Yes, you got to have guys that can score goals. But you also have to have guys that can stop the puck as well. And, Tampa Bay's got a guy in that there, Vasilevsky, that is stopping them at a rate of about 78, 76% of the time in a shootout. All right, that's pretty good. And Flyers have Carter Hart, who they, backed as their number one guy, and he's 69%. All right, so that's almost a good 20% there.
Almost.
Looking at that wise. So that's a big difference. That's a huge difference in that sense. And the only reason why I think the Flyers did win that shootout is Martin Jones. And Martin Jones is a backup goaltender. I'm not saying that Martin Jones should be starting over top Carter Hart, because Carter Hart's been left out to dry, just like Jones has this season. But he's pretty good at these. He's actually the third active goaltender in save percentage in a shootout. Granted, he sees a heck of a lot less of them than Vasilevsky, but he played a lot of years with San Jose as their starter, and he excelled in this, and he still does. So finding these niche type players that can win these type things and putting one of them on the roster that can guarantee you a goal or guarantee you a save in these events are the difference makers that are going to win you or lose you games. And, it doesn't have to be that top tier guy like a Panarin or anybody like that you're paying ungodly amounts of money to. There's certain guys out there like Christian Dvorak for the Canadiens, who's a third line center, and he's scoring at a 60% rate every time. So, I mean, there's guys that can perform these tasks, and you don't have to pay them $7-8 million a year.
Exactly.
And they don't even have to be offensemen. Shea Theodore, formerly of now he's with Vegas, but he's at 57% right now in his shootout scoring percentage. So these guys, Flyers management wise, need to dig a little bit deeper when filling out this roster, and you need to at least have a guy in place on your roster that can be this kind of trick shot player to do this, because like I said, 17 years this has been in favor. And I think the best guy maybe they have on their roster at it right now is Kevin Hayes. And I think he's like a 30-some% in these things. So that's still not great. And again, you're paying him $7 million. And if he's going to be the best at it and he's only 30-some%, that's saying something. You need to get somebody in there that can kind of go down the ice and throw a puck in the back of the net a little more often.
20 to 8%
or 29% as Giroux was putting it in. So
exactly. No, I'm with you on that for sure, man. So wow. Well, I tell you what, I agree with you, man. This team there's so much that this team needs to do and look at, and there's so many things that it needs to address that the list is too long.
Yeah.
It just really is. There's just so much that we could do and talk about.
Hey, they won the game though tonight.
Whoa.
They won the game tonight, but they can't even lose right. All right, let's face it, they can't even lose right when they're essentially
You're supposed to
out
be
of the
losing
playoffs.
games. Come
You're
on.
supposed to be losing games. You're supposed to be playing young guys and losing games, but gaining them experience. And they go out and win games. So what are you gonna do? We can't even. We're gonna end up with a 15th pick again or something if we keep this
don't
up.
say
Oh,
that. Come on
goodness.
now, don't say that. We're at least in the bottom 5 right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
True Flyer fashion, they're probably
Yeah,
gonna screw
right.
that up. So
screw that up too. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Congrats on the win, guys. That's
For sure.
Yeah. Owen
And
Tippett.
congrats on the win. Congrats on the win for Denver, moving on, beating the great Michigan Wolverines in the semifinals for the NCAA Frozen Four.
Yeah, I enjoyed Denver all this year. They had some strong goaltending. They had, 2 solid lines of offense there, and
just a good team all around.
Good team all around. A young coach.
Yep.
And they really, outlasted Michigan, and everybody, would have put their money on Michigan to win with 7 first-round draft picks.
I would have. Yeah, I would have.
Owen Power being a number 1 overall pick, and I mean he's probably on a plane to Buffalo right now.
Right now.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just stunned by that, and hopefully the Flyers can go out and sign Blackenberg. Is this thing on? Let's listen up, Chuck. Sign him. He played pretty well with that Cam York guy when he was at Michigan, and he took Owen Power under his wing and showed him around Michigan and played with him. So
Intense wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, right-hand shot defenseman.
Hey, what do you know? Hey, what do you know? Hey, what do you know? Hey, well. All right, Lance, listen, where can we find all your great articles? Where can we get all your great stuff, my man? And you did hint at something coming up soon, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm going to try to put that, you always read my mind somehow. And we don't talk about this, I swear, before the show. Not always, but, you can always catch my stuff at Flyers Nitty Gritty. You can always catch it on SteelFlyers.com. You can catch me on Twitter at LNGBASSIST, the number's 39. You can always catch the old podcast here on YouTube and any of your auditory platforms that you would drive around your car to work or down to the beach here soon enough.
Google, like Amazon, like Anchor, like Spreaker. Thanks, Spreaker, for all your help, for being a big part of the show here. That's the platform we put it out there so that all of the great podcasting platforms like Apple, like Google, Spotify, all that stuff, iHeartRadio, Apple, Amazon, all those places, that's where you can go and find us. When you do, hit the subscribe or hit the like button so that gets us more recognized, man, for sure.
Tell a friend, yeah.
Yes, for sure. Tell a friend. You can catch all of Lance's great stuff as well, too, on Flyers Nitty Gritty. Big salute to Flyers Nitty Gritty for all your support. Thank you, guys. Mucho apreciado for all that. You can find me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52 and also find all the great work from all the guys at SteelFlyers All Sports Network, from the great Perlo Wisdom to the Peyton on the Radio to Off the Wall Hockey and, of course, Hockey Writers Inc. and the JB and Steel Show. I'm SteelFlyers, your co-host. You can find me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. Thanks for watching the Hockey Writers Inc. We will catch you all on the next episode.